A4 white page, whatever you have collected from nearby photocopying shop, you place it in landscape mode. That means this is the longer side 297, this is the shorter side 210. And here at this right hand bottom corner, you draw that. What is the name of this box? Title block. Now, if we expand this, you will find it like this. Okay. So in the right hand bottom corner, you form a rectangle. What about the size? That is given in plate number 1. Okay. In plate number 1, side 1, the sides are given. Now the gaps between these parallel lines are 5 millimeter each. And how many such lines are there, such gaps are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it is 65, and this length is whatever it is mentioned, you form that. And I have that facility of working with different colors, but you have to work with pencil only. And there lighter pencils, that means hard pencils like H, etc. You have to draw these lines subdividing this 65 millimeter space, so that 5 millimeter is gap is there, so that these lines are not very prominent to overshadow these major things, the materials there, what you need to write, this box, the outer diamond, etc. Now, detailed dimension, detailed dimension, etc. you don't need to put here. That is for plate number 1 only. But from plate number 1, whatever data you have there in your hand, you have to utilize it. Make this rectangle and draw a series of lines parallel to this bottom line, this base line, or this boundary line, or the border line, base border line on this page with 5 millimeter gap. But these lines should not be so prominent that they just put these things, important things, in some comparatively dark. Then you write this thing within this 5 millimeter line spacing. Write this thing, National Institute of Technology, Durgapur, everything with pencil except this part. Suppose it is for section H. Roll number is 21H800 something or 80 something. And for section I, it will be 21I something, section either H or I. Now, we started discussing about this thing, commenced on the previous week, that is 14th of January, okay, of this year. So this blank page is to be prepared for this one, plate number 2, with this heading. What about this heading? What is written there? Scales and geometrical constructions. You can use 10 millimeter lettering stencil if it is there available at your home. Otherwise, if you can procure it, you get it from the market. If you are taking a good precaution that you are not moving out of your home, so in that case, you draw two very thin lines parallel to each other, obviously parallel to this top border line also, at a distance of whatever it is mentioned there in plate number 1, 15 millimeter, 20 millimeter. So 10 millimeter spacing, draw two very thin parallel lines, and accommodate these letters there with that height of 10 millimeters. Scales and geometrical construction. So you should be prepared with this A4 page in its landscape mode, and prepare 10-12 such blank pages with this portion written. For different plates, we will change this heading of that plate. For plate number 2, it is scales and geometrical constructions. For plate number 3, it will be projection of points, lines, and surfaces. Now, when we use in drawing halls the real drawing class there, we use that big size drawing sheet where we can accommodate many number of solutions in one page. But for this A4 page, it is not, you cannot do that. So we will change our plan, or we will change our normal practice. We will accommodate one solution in one page. So for that, you need to provide some time from your leisure hour. So reduced half an hour sleep from your 8 hour stretch. So make it 7.5 hours. So, and just prepare this block, title block. Okay. Now that is for the blank page for plate number 2. Okay. And anyway, it is in PDF, so I need to So with this common title block, you prepare 3 such pages. Okay, we'll go for 3 solutions right now. Then this is about the blank page. Now in one page, we will accommodate one solution for plane scale. Now I'll just come out of this and now can you see this page?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So yes, sir. This is for the solution of plane scale, but I am telling you again, when we are working in our drawing halls with the big size drawing sheet, the problems on plane scale, the vernier scale, the diagonal scale, all these scale problems we can accommodate there. But for this, when you are working at your home, it is not possible. So use that small paper, that is A4 white page, put the border line, make this title block here, and provide one solution in one page only. Okay. Now I will expand it.
Sir, borderline, sir, how many millimeters, sir?
Borderline is little thick line compared to the normal line. Borderline normally it is between 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter. Now what you can do, you can take normal ordinary pencil, not those mechanical pencils. Mechanical pencil tip is fixed, either 0.5 millimeter or 0.7 millimeter. Now if you can procure 0.75 millimeter thick pencil tip for these mechanical pencils, then you can use that for drawing the borderline. Otherwise, what you can do, you place the scale to draw a line, you draw one line, it will be thin, and place the scale or that ruler beside that drawn line very close to it, and draw one more line where there you do not give any gap between these two drawn lines. So now you get one thicker line. So as such, I think you can manage. Okay. Now
It's a
the
dimension of the
borderline, the
title
title
block.
block, the field up title block, etc. But one thing, at this location roll number, this 28,800 or 21I00, this part should be written with ink. Now regarding plane scale, we had some demonstration in our previous class. So now we will see what exactly we can place on this A4 size sheet, a single A4, a single solution. So this is the heading for that solution. Plane scale, this is the problem number 1. RF is given 1 divided by 40. Length of scale, RF multiplied by the minimum length to be shown there, that is 6 meters specified there. This is 15 centimeter. So what we do now? Please remember the earlier class discussion. We take a line, this bottom one. We take this line of 15 centimeter length. Subdivide this 15 centimeter long line geometrically in 6 equal parts. That is, at any inclination, draw a line of any suitable length. You take any suitable length fixed in the divider or compass, it should not be disturbed. That fixed length you use repeatedly to draw these circular arcs, that is to mark 6 equal divisions on this arbitrary line whatever you have drawn. Then next step is connect this last point to this terminal point of this horizontal line whatever you have drawn of length 15 centimeter. Next step, you go on drawing series of lines rather parallel to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next step, this 15 centimeter length which represents 6 meter when subdivided in 6 equal parts. So each small division represents 1 meter according to our RF, that representative fraction. Next step, 1 meter to be subdivided in 10 equal parts. So this is the geometrical way. Along any inclination, take any length, take any suitable radius, go on marking with these arcs of that fixed radius for such 10 divisions. Now connect this point with this point and draw a series of lines parallel to this connected line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this line is subdivided in 10 equal parts geometrically. Now place two set squares, one along this line, other perpendicular to that. So when you match it, you connect this point with that set square and draw a line here. But what is that location here that we should provide it first there. So that step is, for this 15 centimeter line as length, we draw a rectangle. So this perpendicular line, and this parallel line at a gap of around 5 millimeter. Okay. So we draw this rectangle, then mark these subdivision points with 0 major subdivision 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write the unit as meter. Now for this part, as if it is looking like a real scale, at 5 we draw a bigger line starting from the upper side of the rectangle and using two set squares, one edge of one set square matching with this line, other set square make it perpendicular to that set square edge and draw these small lines. Okay. Is there any doubt about this? Now once you complete this part, now the scale is ready to measure any length, of course within 6 meter. Now according to the question, you have to show a distance of 3.6 meter. So from 3, draw one extension line from this 6th division of 1 meter, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decimeter, that is 0.6 meter. Draw one extension line, draw this dimension line, put the dimension arrowheads, put the dimension figure and the dimension unit 3.6 meter according to the scale with this RF, and put that value of RF is equal to 1 divided by 40. Write it below this drawn scale. Now one more thing, these lines with this red ink, it will not be, of course, may be available, but you should not do it. Only to differentiate between this process of geometrical division and the scale, etc. I have taken it. But in your drawing, you have to show all this construction with very thin lines, with lighter impression. But they should be there to give you that information, or to give your examiner that information that you have subdivided this line geometrically in 6 equal parts, you have subdivided this one division in 10 equal parts, etc. Now, I hope I am not muted.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
You are audible, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay. Now, next thing, You draw all these lines with very thin lines, maybe with H pencil, and this boundary line or the main object line, the letters, whatever it is written there, they must be prominent, maybe with HB pencil. And if you can manage to get two mechanical pencils, one with grade H and other with grade HB, is fine. Otherwise, you can manage with HB only. And what you do there, you put some a little more force there. Press it on the paper a little with more force. So you get this prominent line, these prominent letters, etc. And do not put that much thrust. Just keep your fingers a little light and just make these lines with lighter impression. So that thing will differentiate between these construction lines and the main or major object line, etc. And finally, you have to show this distance 3.6 meters there. Now that is corresponding to the one solution on plane scale, and you need to accommodate only this problem on one A4 sheet in landscape mode, because it is not that your NIT drawing hall practice of big size drawing sheet to accommodate many number of solutions. It is not there. So at your home, whatever it is available, you work accordingly. Now, I hope before our next class, you will be completing this thing.
Sir, one question, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I have a question.
Bolo.
Sir, মেকানিক্যাল পেন্সিল যেটা বাজারে পাওয়া যায় সেটা 0.7 আর 0.5 পাওয়া যায় বা 2 পাওয়া যায়, তো আলাদা করে সেটা এইচবি না কত সেটা কি করে বুঝবো?
ওখানে লেখা থাকবে, it will be written there. Now for mechanical pencil, is it available 2 millimeter tip?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, ওটা একটা পাওয়া যায় ক্যামলিনের।
Well, then
Yes,
it's
sir, it
fine.
is available.
But I don't know, every shop will keep it there or not. Normally, for smaller towns, it may not be available because there are limited number of customers. So it will be not profitable for the shopkeepers to keep all these things there. Anyway, you should not bother whatever thing you have, because that is not of very regular use, only to draw these border lines, and that too 1 millimeter thick, not more than that. Now, next thing, this is about plane scale. Then
Sir, one more, sir.
one more, बताओ.
सर ये 5 मीटर वाला जो एक स्केल नीचे है सर, एक ऊपर वाला जो है स्केल सर, उसमें कितना बीच का गैप देना है सर?
5 millimeter.
आई
Normally it is 5 millimeter to 10 millimeter. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But as you are working on this small
A4
space of this paper, A4 paper, so 5 millimeter will look good. Otherwise, if it is a big signboard, suppose 2 meter by 3 meter, and you are making some painting beside the road, definitely this 5 millimeter gap will not be visible from a distance of 5-10 meters. So naturally, you have to make that line thickness and line spacing also proportionate to that drawing area. Okay. So there are so many aspects. But let us provide 5 millimeter gap there for this rectangle. And on the upper line for this rectangle, we draw this smaller line.
Small scale, sir.
Small demarcation lines. But this halfway, that 5 decimeter line should be little longer, but not touching this bottom line. Okay. So that it looks like this representative scale. Now that is for plane scale. Now we discuss about.
Sir, I have made one. Can I show?
You have one?
I have made yesterday. I have made one. In before class, you said how to make it, so I tried how to make it. Can I show that it's right or wrong?
Just can you give me little time so that I finish this demonstration first?
Okay, sir. No problem. No problem. Okay, sir.
Now this plane scale, almost complete information is there. Next thing, let us talk about that vernier, the diagonal scale, whatever we have discussed that day. Now I will share that file. So is it available there?
Yes, sir.
So take a separate A4
Yes, sir.
page, draw the borderline at the right hand bottom corner. You draw that title block with ink. You write 21, your roll number, and corresponding section, date of commencement, etc.
Sir, one question, sir.
Okay.
So, in the big size paper, you said that it will be 180 by 65 millimeter, the title block size.
Yes.
But you said we have to do in the A4 size paper. So, what will be the size in that smaller paper?
Smaller
Of
paper
the
thing is that the font size is 5 millimeter, which is prominent. But according to the paper size, if you want to reduce it according to that scale, suppose it comes, that mathematical calculation comes as 2 millimeter. So if you write something with 2 millimeter height, it will not be readable. So that's why you can take some space. 80 millimeter out of 210 millimeter, I think it's not 80, it is height is 65 millimeter. So
Yes, sir.
if you waste 65 millimeter plus 10 millimeter plus 10 millimeter, that is 85. Yes, 65 plus 20, 85 millimeter out of 210. Then whatever space left, you can accommodate this drawing there. And what about the length? It is around 300 millimeter. So 300 millimeter minus 10, that is 270.
Yes, sir.
270 minus how much it is?
180.
180.
Yes, sir. No, in the A3 paper that you give the plate, no one.
There it is. How much it is given?
180.
180. Even if it is 180, it will take some longer space there, but obviously it will be below the solution part. Okay, you can accommodate the solution, etc., the portion remaining. But if you feel that you can curtail this length of the rectangle by certain length, that also you can do. For A4 size, I really cannot give such type of information, because this is the major information about the drawing sheet, whatever you are preparing. But you have to manage for A4. 65 millimeter height is quite comfortable. You can afford it. But the length, you need to manage this information there. So if you make these, suppose, have you heard the name of these fonts? Arial narrow.
Yes, sir.
So what about
Yes,
that?
sir.
What about the difference between Arial and Arial narrow?
Sir, the letterings are much narrower than Arial.
Exactly. So you can make these letters with some narrow impression, like their visual impression, not mental narrow impression. Anyway, please don't mind. So in that way, you please manage with that. Okay.
And sir, what was the spacing of the borderline from the edge of the paper?
10 millimeter.
Okay, sir.
Now let me make it little bit bigger. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes,
first
sir.
step was to calculate the length required, the real 1:1 length. RF you have to calculate, it is not supplied. This is the drawing distance 6.5 centimeter. This is the object distance 2 meter 47 centimeter. So ratio is normally written in this form 1 divided by some number. That is the reducing scale, RF. Now length of scale is RF multiplied by the length to be shown there at least. Then 6 meter multiplied by RF is 15.8 centimeter. This is not that very handy value of 15 centimeter to subdivide in 6 division. It's not like that. It is 15.8 centimeter. So take a length of 15 centimeter, 8 millimeter along this horizontal line. Then subdivide it, the upper green line, subdivide it in 6 equal parts that you know how to do. Then you get 1 meter, subdivide in 10 equal parts. Next step, draw this rectangle, this black rectangle of 40 millimeter height. That is in our hand. So the height of the rectangle may be from 1 inch to 1.5 inches. It is something like 25 millimeter to 40 millimeter, something like that. But let us take for our convenience 40 millimeter, so that we can set a distance of 4 millimeter in our spring loaded divider. Now take a length of 4 millimeter and fix it and go on marking 4 millimeter, 4 millimeter, 4 millimeter in that way. And you do that thing, repeat that thing accordingly on this side also. So first point, second point, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, etc. So then you connect, suppose this ninth point to this ninth point, connect this fifth point to this fifth point in that way, so that geometrically you need not bother yourself to draw the geometrical way of drawing parallel lines, because there is every possibility of making mistake and lines may not look like parallel. So when the accuracy is required, we are taking that liberty that we make this rectangle of 40 millimeter height and 4 millimeter spacing. And you do not have that green lines. Just to show some lighter impression lines, I have made it with green color lines. You have to work with thinner impression lines. Now, after drawing these 10 such gaps with 9 parallel lines there with 5 millimeter spacing, next step is you place one set square here. You make another, you bring another set square and place it perpendicular to that and connect to this first point, first division point. And that vertical edge of that or perpendicular edge of that set square will give you some location here. So you identify this point accordingly, so that this upper line is also subdivided in 10 equal parts, but you do not need to subdivide in 10 equal parts geometrically on the upper side also. So you have to be efficient about all such uses of drawing instruments. Now, next thing, you have these 10 division points on the lower line, you have this 10 division point on the upper line. Next thing is very important. You draw a line connecting the 0 point with this point 1 by this inclined line. And here it gives the subdivision of this one, first subdivision of 1 decimeter in 10 equal parts by similar triangles by this diagonal method. So the first very small subdivision point, it is 1/10 of that decimeter, 0.2 decimeter, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9 decimeter, and this is the full segment 1 decimeter. And how to read a length? For example, in our case, it is given to read 3.76 meter. So 3 complete meters, you start from 0 on the right hand side, 1, 2, 3, this is 3 complete meter. You put one extension line there. Then you approach to 7 decimeter along this horizontal line, starting from 0 towards left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you identify the line, diagonal line, passing through the 7 decimeter point and reach it in upward direction up to the 6th line. That is, it is shifting horizontally by some distance 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter towards left. and it is inclined in that way towards left. So there is a deviation from this location to 6 centimeter towards left. So you are adding some length. This is 3 meter. On the bottom line, it is 7 decimeter, and we need some shift towards left to increase the length. We reach to this level 6 and identify this location. We put one extension line here. Intentionally, I have made this with red line to make it distinct so that we can understand that this location is very important. This is for 3.76 meter location, and along this line, when you reach here, this length is 3.76 meter. So mark this extension line, mark this extension line at 3.76 meter location, draw this dimension line, put this dimension arrowheads at the end of this dimension line, put the dimension figure and the dimension unit. Now tell me, is there any confusion?
Sir, that upper sir, upper small scale bound कैसे बनाएंगे सर, मतलब वो ऊपर वाला
This
ये
one?
वाला? Yes sir.
You are engineer, so you should not follow this conventional school disciplined way of doing this. That is, this one is not to be repeated on the upper side also. You can do it, but you can manage it in that way. Simply place one edge of one set square along this bottom line, bring another set square to match with that edge with 90 degree, that is, it will be perpendicular to that. Now, if we place that perpendicular edge here, that line will give you the imaginary location of the point of intersection of that perpendicular set square edge and this horizontal line at the upper level. And you mark a pencil point there. Okay. In that way, you go on putting these points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And now you really connect these points with this point with one subdivision deviation towards left. Okay. And you should not make the real connection between this point and this point with pencil. There should not be any vertical line. In this box, there should be only inclined or diagonal lines. Otherwise, it will be very much clumsy. So for every such diagonal, there is always some vertical, and series of such vertical lines. You have so many intersections, you will be confused. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Sir, the question you sent to us in mail, you can show the third one, which is given by the diagonal scale.
So is that problem is not the same diagonal?
Yes, sir.
Now let me check. Let me check that what question I sent.
Okay, okay, sir.
It was your the question serial number. Have I made any mistake there? Anyway, you just check with these figures, whatever supplied there. One 6.5 centimeter line will represent 2 meter 47 centimeter length. In that way, it was given there.
Sir, it is right. It is right. The second one. Yes, sir.
So the follow that this instruction, this information. This is the calculation. This is the corresponding length required 15.8, and these are the steps. I hope this is been demonstrated or elaborated quite extensively. There should not be any problem with anybody. Okay, but you have to take several pages, one solution in one page, and you please use your leisure hour. It's not like that okay तो हो जाएगा, ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. प्रैक्टिकल और सेशनल पेपर है, इसका तो कोई एंड सेमेस्टर एग्जाम भी नहीं होगा. Anyway, some assignments will be given, some assessments will be given, but at the same time, to get a real classroom flavor, I do one thing. What is that? We have 2 hours 45 minutes class, and we can stretch it up to 5 p.m. so that it is almost 3 hours class. So what we can do, I can stop discussing and I can close the meeting for half an hour. Suppose it is something like Ponatim. So we stop it, this MS Team discussion for half an hour, and we join again at 3:15. And within this span, 2:45 to 3:15, you are getting half an hour to complete one problem. You finish this thing, and at random, I will ask any roll number to put on its camera. Okay, so that once you put on the video, normally I put off my video so that it sometimes gives some disturbance in communication. But for 1 or 2 minutes, a particular roll number, you put your camera, focus it on the page in which you have drawn it, and there I can assess it, whatever you have done. But it takes some time. This not so important location compared to the solution, this part you prepare some drawing pages, rather A4 white pages ready for any solution. So keep such 10-12 pages ready so that in our next class, suddenly I can stop our meeting for half an hour and give you some assignment. You do it, and after half an hour, I will start the meeting again. Then I ask randomly any particular any roll number and ask you to show the put on the video, your camera on, and focus it on the solution so that immediately I can see whatever you have done and I can assess it. Okay. Otherwise, it is not possible because the real classroom facility that we cannot avail, particularly for this pandemic situation. Anyway, जो खाना मिलता है वही तो खाना पड़ेगा. Now, let me go for some other solution. So I'll just unshare this file. So, do you find something?
Yes, sir. Audio skill.
So, this is that paper. This is the borderline. Here is the title
The
block.
third one is skip होगी.
Pardon?
You skip the third one.
Is it not the problem number 4, the vernier scale?
Yes, sir, but you skip one. Third one is skipped. That I am telling.
देखिए, in a book there might be 950 problems, and in your school your teachers took only 15-20 sample demonstration. Okay.
Oh, so no problem. I was thinking you will take all the sums.
Because no. Some sample demonstration will be there. Then you have to put your own investment. That your investment capital will be your time, your intelligence, your passion for learning the subject from other materials. Compare different solutions. You go through many books, hard copy, soft copy, but you have to give your time, and there is no such shortcut in learning. The learning procedure, it is fixed, whether it is at your home learning from your mothers, the nursery rhymes, or whether it at your school or at university, colleges, whatever it may be. Primary investment should come from your side, otherwise this business in no way you can't make it profitable. Okay. And there is no shortcut in learning. Now I will give you the stepwise demonstration, but I initially I take up the complete solution in this way. Now can you remember this type of arrangement, these black lines, not these red and green lines? This part is the main scale.
Yes, sir, it is a vernier
Vernier
scale.
scale. Now,
Yes, sir.
from 0, there is 1 meter subdivided in 10 equal parts, 1 decimeter each. Here, 1 full meter subdivided in 10 equal parts, that is 10 decimeter, 1 decimeter, 2 decimeter, 3 decimeter, etc. On the upper part, we take a length of 11 decimeter. From this 0 mark towards left, we take one additional decimeter here. And this line we subdivide in 10 equal parts. So then 110 centimeter or 11 decimeter is subdivided in 10 equal parts. That means it is 1.1 decimeter or 11 centimeter each division on this vernier scale. Now, the difference between one division on vernier and one division on main is 11 centimeter minus 10 centimeter. So what about the gap here between the first subdivision on vernier and this main? It is 1 centimeter. Now what about one such subdivision? This is 11 centimeter. Again, from 0 to the second division point, it is 22 centimeter, etc. It is ultimately it is 110 centimeter. So 10 such divisions, and here it is 100 centimeter. Now, suppose I want to find out 1.5 meter. Then what to do? 1 complete meter means from 0 to this 1, the full 1 meter. Then 5 decimeter, 0 to this 5. Now, if it is not 50 centimeter, we need to find out 55 centimeter. In that case, 11 centimeter, 11 centimeter, etc. up to 50, up to 5th division, it is 55 centimeter. Yes, somebody was telling something.
Sir, please explain the construction once again. I couldn't get it.
I told you at the very beginning, I am discussing about the complete solution, whatever it is available in this page. I'll move back to the steps, but not now. Okay. Calculation of RF. 8 centimeter represents a length of 1 meter. So RF is 1 divided by something in same unit, no unit. So 1 divided by 12.5. Length of scale required. Now this is the normal length of scale. Approximate that 15 centimeter or 6 inches is the length of scale to be drawn on paper, and that is 16 centimeter to represent 2 meter. We are not taking 15 centimeter. It is a standard length, but nobody told me that you have to take only 15 centimeter, because that 15 centimeter, it may not be that palatable figure for this RF. Okay, so this RF gives 2 meter to be shown with 16 centimeter. So take a real length of 16 centimeter, the bottommost line, subdivide it in 2 equal parts, that will be 1 meter, 1 meter, that is total 2 meter. Subdivide each 1 meter part in 10 equal division. After that, you make one rectangle with 5 millimeter spacing. On the upper line of this rectangle, you extend this line by one small division of the lower line. This is now 11 decimeter or 110 centimeter. Now subdivide this upper line in 10 equal parts. Geometrically, you get 11 centimeter, 11 centimeter, instead of the lower division of 10 centimeter, 10 centimeter, etc. up to 100 centimeter. And if we start from 0, this distance is 10 centimeter in the lower line. And if you start from that same 0, in the upper line, it is 11 centimeter. So gap between this line, anyway, I'll make it this line and this line. What about that gap?
1 centimeter.
1 centimeter, 11 centimeter minus 10 centimeter. Now, once you have that 1 centimeter reading is there, but you cannot get in that 1 centimeter subdivision for each such thing. For second subdivision, the gap is 22 centimeter minus 20 centimeter, that is 2 centimeter, this gap. Here it is gap is 3 centimeter, but ultimately this is 33 centimeter on the upper line, 30 centimeter in the lower line. So you have to match the calculation corresponding to the length to be measured. Now centimeters are in the multiple of 11 only. So if you find this required length to be shown, it is 89 centimeter. Now this 89 centimeter, you first check this place of this unit. This is 9. So take a distance of 9 such division on this centimeter scale. It will be 99 from 0. And from that you need to subtract 10 centimeter which is available in the main scale. So put a line here as extension line which gives 99 centimeter from this 0, and put a line 10 centimeter from this 0 on the main scale. Then what about the distance between these two extension lines? It is 99 up to 0 minus 10 up to 0, that is 99 minus 10, that is 89. So you have to apply your common sense and the normal calculation which will match this figure what is required to show that length. So question is demonstration, the solution given in a class, everything is very standard. But question asked in competitive exam, when examiners are there to eliminate you from some competitive exam, when we have a post of job only one and 10 applicants are there, so we need to eliminate. So question will be tough enough so that out of 10 applicants, 7 people cannot attempt that question. But in the class, it is not possible that in a class all such difficult problems will be discussed, and it is not possible.
Sir,
So
how will be marks given for engineering drawing?
pardon?
How will be marks given for engineering drawing?
Engineering total 100 marks is there. There is no CA1, mid-sem, end-sem formal examination, but your performance will be evaluated. First type of thing, the on the spot test. After this discussion, I will ask you with some different data, maybe some 9 centimeter length represents a certain length, and calculate the RF, then find the length of scale and draw a vernier scale. The data will not match with this sample. And I will give you half an hour time during this 2 to 5 or 2 to 45, half an hour time. You start, take half an hour, finish it. Then I start the meeting again. And at random, I will ask your camera to put on and focus it on your solution page, and immediately I can get that impression about your performance. That is the running class performance, which normally we do during the real classroom in your engineering graphics sessional class in the drawing halls at NIT Durgapur. There, so many people are there, maybe 3-4 teachers, along with 2-3 PhD students, some research scholars, along with 3-4 master degree students, those who are doing MTech there at NIT. So there will be so many people. First of all, they are your service provider. At the same time, they are your examiners also. So they will roam around this classroom and go to every table and note down your performance within that stipulated time. Suppose after half an hour, it was possible for you to draw this portion, main scale portion only. So out of 10, I'll give you only 4, because compared to this part is more important. So that weightage will be more there for the vernier part. Anyway, it will be taken up gradually. Then at the end of the semester, we can go for some test, maybe of 40 marks. And your this continuous performance will be having 60 marks. Sometime I will ask you to take 1 day time to do 2-3 problems like this CA1 of the theory paper. I'll give you some assignment here. You do it on white pages, make that PDF and you submit it, mail it to me. I'll check it. I'll put the marks. So there are so many ways how to assess your performance. Okay. Now next
So what
thing,
are the precautionary points for drawing? Means where you will cut the points. Means what are the precautions we should take while drawing?
first of all, there should be one cloth duster to clean
Sir,
your
what?
page. Duster मालूम है कपड़े का?
Ah, yes, sir.
So clean that table first, where you will place your A4 paper. Then
Okay.
your pencil should be very sharp to draw the prominent thin lines. Then instruments must be ready beside your hand. These are the primary precautions. Then using the instruments, your hand must be steady. It must be rock steady. When you use two set square to draw parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Next thing, using the drawing instruments, first of all, the length. 3 centimeter and 3.1 centimeter are very close. In open eye, you cannot differentiate or distinguish there. When you are measuring some angle, if by any chance, if your hand is little bit twisted, some disturbance, घर में छोटा बच्चा है भैया भैया करके आपको थोड़ा धक्का दे दिया, बस हो गया ना. So that perpendicular line 90 degree now measures to 89 degree. And if you know that problem, you direct your propulsion, that rocket, to Mars, and you deviate it by 1 degree, it will reach to some other planet or some other, I don't know where it will reach, or it may reach nowhere. Anyway, that unpredictable thing are always there. One thing, the human error. Other thing is, maybe there is some error already present in the instruments. You cannot rectify it. And there are some uncertainties that you may not know. So you have to take precaution of all such things. And please, you have to rectify all these things, which will be your trouble, and you have to solve it. Okay, nobody can help you. If you measure 3.1 centimeter distance and show it by 3 centimeter, it is not done. Okay, now let me come out of this page. New page there.
Yes, sir.
So first thing, calculation of representative fraction, drawing distance and object length are given. 1 is to 12.5, length of scale 16 centimeter to show 2 meter. So this is the first step. Draw a line of 16 centimeter length. You subdivide it in 20 equal parts by these green lines. So it is in 20 decimeter. At the middle, you put a 0 mark there. On the right hand side, you go for 1 full meter. On the left hand side, you go for decimeter marking. But we are not giving this identification 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 decimeter. It will make the figure clumsy. Then you make this small rectangle like thing and put these subdivision identification lines, a 5 millimeter wide rectangle like thing. Next step, at 0, you put a line here of that same thickness, same width, 5 millimeter. Make this line extended by 1 decimeter And this 11 decimeter rectangle is subdivided now geometrically in 10 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So this 11 decimeter is subdivided in 10 equal parts, means 11 centimeter, 11 centimeter, 11 centimeter, and these are 10 centimeter, 10 centimeter. So gap between the main scale division and vernier scale division will give you, here is the first gap 1 centimeter, this is the gap of 2 centimeter, this is the gap of 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter, here it is 5 centimeter, in that way. And this calculation is very important. The required length to be shown, you first concentrate on this unit figure 9. So 9 means when it is centimeter, you do not get that 1 centimeter there. It is in the form of 11 centimeter. So it is coming in the form of 99 centimeter minus 10 centimeter. So 0 to 9 division on the vernier, it is 99 centimeter. Subtract this part 0 to 10 decimeter in the lower part, 10 centimeter rather. So this is 99 minus 10. Now if I ask you to find out 87 centimeter, then what to do?
+10.
77 plus
10.
10. So 77 is directly available from 7 such division here. And 10, we put it on the other side. We have to add 10 centimeter. Okay. So from this location to 7th division on the vernier side, it is 87. Now if it is 58,
-88 -30.
exactly 88 minus 30. So you put a marker here at 8, so it will be 88, and put a marker here at 30 centimeter division here on the main scale. So from 0 to here it is 88, from 0 to here it is 30. So 88 minus 30. So put a marker here, this extension line here, and put here this 88. So that gap will be 58. So apply your common sense, you'll get it. Now one thing, these steps are like this. Can you take a screenshot of this page? Those who are confident, they may not need it, but if by any chance, if anybody needs it, just take a screenshot. Have you done it?
Sir, will you share this file?
Sir, can you zoom a little bit?
Yes, sir. I have taken it.
I can zoom it, but in that case, you have to take part screenshot.
Yes, sir. You have to take that because it's not coming in the full.
So can you share this file?
I'll share this file,
Yes,
but
sir, please.
not now. I'll send it through mail. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Then take a screenshot of this part. If it is done, just give me a signal. I'll come to the lower side also.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Then the lower part.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
पहले ये तो खत्म करने दे. So take this part.
Done.
Now
Okay,
next
sir.
thing. हाँ, कौन कुछ पूछ रहा था, पूछिए.
Sir, how to measure 55 and 76, sir?
How to measure 55?
Yes, sir. I mean, I didn't understand how to calculate the length.
It was. It depends on the unit place and this 10th place. If this unit place is more than this 10th place, you have to subtract. If this unit place is smaller than the 10th place, you have to add. Suppose you want to measure a length of, suppose 53. So unit place is less, and 53, it is combination of 33 and 20. because the vernier side it is corresponding to 11 centimeter each. You cannot measure any smaller length than this small division on the vernier scale. Okay. So 3 such division will give you 33. Then 2 such division on the main scale on the right hand side, it is 20. So 20 centimeter plus 33 centimeter is 53 centimeter.
Yes, sir.
And you please take it up for your own practice. You go for any value between this 210 centimeter. Okay then.
Sir, in that case, if we want to take 68, then 88 minus 20.
First you compare the unit place and the 10th place. If it is 68, then 8 comes in the form of 88 only. You do not get 8 centimeter.
Yes, sir. 88 minus 20.
Exactly.
Okay, sir.
Anyway, these are all about the scales. And some more problems on scale are also there. Now you will find now one thing. Now with RF 1:72, can you draw one yard scale to read up to a foot or 1 inch?
So once again, repeat.
Yes, sir, we can draw.
Inch, foot, and yard. Can you draw any
Yes,
diagonal
sir.
scale?
Yes, sir, we draw the diagonal. Yes, sir.
So from that diagonal scale, just 1 minute. So this is for meter, decimeter, centimeter. Suppose the length is there in yard. Suppose 5 yards are there or 6 yards. So subdivide in 6 equal parts. So one part will give you as
1 year.
1 yard. Now you subdivide this 1 yard in 3 equal parts. Then what about the small division?
1 feet.
1 foot. Then diagonally, instead of 10 such boxes, you make 12 such boxes. So you are subdividing this 1 foot in 12 equal parts diagonally. Then what about the small division you are getting? Diagonally?
1 inch.
1 inch.
1 inch.
So you can take up that type of problem. What book you are following, you take that type of problem for your own practice. And for assignment, there will be a combination, maybe. Okay. Now, after this scale portion, there are several problems on geometrical constructions. Now, these geometrical constructions, they start from problem number 6. And regarding this problem number 6, I discussed earlier. Now, is that file shared? The problem sheet?
No.
Yes, sir.
Not,
sir.
not available on your screen.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No,
In the
sir.
screen, it's not shared. You have shared in mail. I'm
Got it.
saying that.
Anyway, now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. It's shared.
Yes, sir.
Now, this problem 6 was discussed. Problem 7. Draw a triangle TPQ having given PQ is equal to 12 centimeter, PT 10 centimeter, and QT 9 centimeter. Construct a parabola which touches PT and QT at P and Q respectively. Then determine the axis, vertex, focus, and lattice rectum. Now, I will go for that approximate method of drawing a parabola by this triangle method or something like that. I'll share one more file. Let me come out of this file.
Two methods, rectangular and the concentric. Something. There are two methods of drawing a parabola.
Rectangle is there. Other thing you can accommodate in one parallelogram. It may be directrix and focus. These two informations are given. That is the conventional problem number. The first problem on parabola. Now, just to hold a minute. Now, is it there?
Yes, sir.
First step, you draw this triangle with the given information. Now, all dimensions in millimeter, it is written somewhere on the top of the title block. So we do not mention the units separately here, 120 millimeter, 100 millimeter, etc. So draw this line PQ horizontal of length 120 millimeter. And how to draw this triangle with PT 100 and QT 90 millimeters, that you know very well from your schools. So simply draw two circular arcs of radius 100 and radius 90, with taking point P and Q as radius. So this point of intersection, you do it. Draw the triangle TPQ. Then this step, divide this line TP geometrically in 10 equal parts. So you know how to subdivide it in 10 equal parts geometrically. Take any line at any inclination to PT, identify any suitable length, mark it in your divider, make it fixed, go on cutting these lengths successively. 10 such equal division is marked. The last division point and this point T is connected, and draw then series of lines parallel to this connected line, this one, this one, this one, etc. And starting from the very first division point, you go on marking with some numbers. Now, can you read these yellow letters?
Yes, sir.
So 1, 2,
Yes, sir. 1 to 9.
Yes, sir.
1 to 9.
1 to 9. Then T.
Then T.
Triangle.
Then it is divided in 10 equal parts. First division, second, third one between 2 and 3, fourth one between 3 and 4, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one between 6 and 7, eighth division, ninth division. This is the last 10th division. Next step, divide TQ geometrically in 10 equal parts. The same thing, take any line along any inclination, take any suitable radial distance, go on marking them in that way. If it is P, it is T, and now it is Q. So now one thing, you start marking with these identification numbers 1, 2, 3, etc., not from bottom. It's from top. In earlier case, it was from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Now it is coming down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Next step. Draw the lines connecting one with one on this line PT to other on the line TQ. And this process we have done with this colored line. What about the name of this color?
Pink.
Pink, sir.
Pink.
Purple.
Okay, कुछ भी नाम दे दो, मैजेंटा भी चलेगा. So 1 with 1, you draw this line. 2 with 2, 3 with 3, 4 with 4, 5 with 5, 6 with 6, 7 with 7, 8 with 8, and last this 9th location connect with this 9 and draw these separate lines. Now ultimately you will find these lines are so closely spaced that you are getting almost a curved line here. But truly speaking, this is not a curved line. These are all series of such connecting lines 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, etc. And if you make it bigger, you will find all these are individual lines, but they are so closely spaced that this part is looking like a curve. Now next step is draw a smooth freehand curve touching the lines 1, 1, 2, 2, etc., which is the desired parabola. So take the pencil and with very lighter impression, you just go on touching the straight lines in this way very smoothly, and you should not make it at one go. With very thin impression, very lighter impression, you just try to make this line, then erase it, make it a little more close to a curve, a continuous smooth curve. In that way, after 1 or 2 trials, you can draw this line. Now make it prominent. Now there is another part of this question. What about that?
Lattice rectum.
Determine axis, vertex, focus, and lattice rectum. You take 5 minutes time to think. I'll join. I'll take the attendance and I'll join.
No, sir, we know.
क्या?
सर पता है लैटिस रेक्टम क्या है?
आपको पता नहीं लेटेस्ट रेक्टम क्या है?
पता है सर.
पता है तो ड्राइंग में दिखाओ ना, कैसे कैसे दिखाना है, सोचो बेटा.
सर फोकस के थ्रू जो परपेंडिकुलर लाइन क्रॉस करेगा पैराबोला से, so
Then for focus, we can use reflection property of parabola and draw two parallel lines, reflect them on the parabola. The intersection point will be the focus.
सर वर्टिक्स और डायरेक्ट्रिक्स में जो मतलब डिस्टेंस है वो फोकस से भी सेम ही डिस्टेंस में रहेगा.
सर नहीं है सर. सर नहीं है क्या?
दिखा रहा है, देखते हैं।
सर तो है, म्यूटेड है।
शिवमदीप ने बना लिया अपना।
हाँ क्या?
HTML मतलब फॉर्म बना लिया, वो जो वेब डेवलपमेंट का टास्क मिला था।
हाँ थोड़ा सा मॉडिफिकेशन चल रहा है।
हाँ सेम, मेरा भी। मेरा फीवर भी है तो कहा कि कल देखे 6 बजे से पहले होगी होगी और निकाल देंगे।
ठीक है
मुझे तो
भैया। कौन सा टास्क?
पोर्टफोलियो वेबसाइट बनाने के बोल झंझट बहुत।
बना लो बना लो।
कोई लैब वाला बनाया है? अगर बनाया है तो ग्रुप में सेंड कर दो। हेलो। बोलो कुछ भाई।
कौन सा लैब?
लैब का
ये
लैब सर बोले।
वो कोई बनाया होगा तो मिल ही जाएगा ग्रुप में।
ग्रुप में मैसेज किए थे लेकिन लगता है कोई नहीं बनाया तभी तो नहीं भेजा।
आज थोड़ी ना करना है, या फिर आज करना होगा तो सब बनाएंगे सारे एक साथ।
ओके, अगर बना लेना तो भेज देना ग्रुप में। सिर्फ देखना है कि कैसे बनाना है और क्या।
यूट्यूब में मिल ही जाएगा फिर से, नहीं तो।
ओके
कोई
अगर
सीट
बना
वगैरह
लेना।
बनाना है क्या?
यूट्यूब में क्या सर्च करना पड़ेगा?
इंजीनियरिंग ड्राइंग के लिए
इंजीनियरिंग
मनीष
ग्राफिक।
पटनायक का चैनल देख लेना भाई, बहुत बढ़िया।
किसका?
इंजीनियरिंग ड्राइंग के लिए मनीष पटनायक का चैनल।
मनीष मंडा का टिकल एकेडमी। टिकल
लिंक
एकेडमी।
भेज देना शिवराज। शिवराज लिंक भेज।
मनीष पटनायक अच्छा है। वो टिकल एकेडमी मैंने देखा है दूसरे सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए। मनीष
अरे
पटनायक का बहुत अच्छा।
अरे
लिंक
इंजीनियरिंग
भेज दो भैया, लिंक
अच्छा
इंजीनियरिंग
भेज
लिंक
दो।
भेज देना ग्रुप।
अरे सर्च में
अच्छा
डालोगे
ठीक
तो
है,
मिल
चैनल का
जाएगा।
नाम क्या बोला?
भाई मैं बोल रहा
भेज।
था कि क्या क्या करना है हम लोग को, फर्स्ट सीट और सेकंड सीट दोनों करना है क्या?
सर जो फाइल शेयर करेंगे वहां से देख देख के कर लेंगे।
सर ने तो 3 प्लेट शेयर किया है।
3 प्लेस करना
सर
है।
से पूछ
कोई
लेंगे, सर
बनाना
आएंगे।
होगा
अच्छा,
सर
वो जो
बनाने
प्लेट्स है वो
बोलेंगे, बाद में, अभी नहीं।
ग्रुप में भेजना तो एक बार। शुभदीप या शुभनिक
भेजना मतलब मेरे पास कहाँ से आएगा?
अरे मेल पे दिया है, मेल पे दी
आया
दिए
होगा
थे।
ना।
मेल पे
मेल पे आया।
दिया है।
अच्छा मेल में वो आया ना, ठीक है भेज दूंगा वो।
चैनल का नाम जो करना है पूरा भेज देना।
अरे बाप रे।
कुछ टास्क वास्क देखे गए हैं क्या सर? मतलब क्या बोले थे आधा घंटा बाद?
अरे नहीं भैया, आज
वो
नहीं है, नेक्स्ट
लेटेस्ट सिलेक्टम और क्या
आज से स्टार्ट हो रहा है, आज नहीं है।
अच्छा
नेक्स्ट
वो तो
फ्राइडे से
शुभनिक
होगा।
बोलेगा ना लेटी सेटअप
नेक्स्ट
क्या
फ्राइडे से
है।
होगा।
होने दो।
मैकेनिक्स का कोई असाइनमेंट दिया है क्या असाइनमेंट?
नहीं है किसो।
मेल में जो आया है वो घर में करने के लिए है ना?
मैकेनिक्स का कौन सा घर में करने के लिए दिया है?
मेल में जो एक कुछ 17 क्वेश्चन दिए है ना।
ग्राफिक्स है वो तो, ग्राफिक्स।
ग्राफिक्स बोल। अरे वो तो
ग्राफिक्स
सर करवा रहे हैं अभी। स्किल्स वाला क्वेश्चन जो सर करवा रहे हैं
अरे
ना।
सारे
वो
सर
सारा
ने नहीं करवाया, थर्ड वाला नहीं करवाया सर ने बोला मैं
वो डेमो
मतलब
दे
सर
रहे
कुछ कराएंगे, हम लोग को कुछ करना होगा।
अरे ये क्वेश्चन ही
हाँ
दे
वही।
देंगे, बोलेंगे बोलेंगे असाइनमेंट के हिस्से में जमा करो। असाइनमेंट दे दिए।
नहीं 11 क्वेश्चन है 17 नहीं है किसो।
17 है, ठीक ठाक देखो 17 है।
17 है अच्छा हो सकता है। याद नहीं है।
17 है। ग्राफिक्स का कोई एग्जाम नहीं होगा ना?
होगा। इन सेम टाइप का एक ही एग्जाम होगा, प्रैक्टिकल टाइप का जो है वही।
आखिर में होगा शायद, सर ने बोला
आखिर
ना
में
आखिर में होगा।
वाइवा होगा और करना पड़ेगा।
ऑनलाइन वाइवा?
क्षितिज
हाँ ऑनलाइन
क्षितिज
वाइवा।
इतना
अब क्या कर सकते।
इतना चुपचाप क्यों? बैकग्राउंड में वीडियो एडिटिंग कर रहा है बंदा श्योर क्षितिज।
हाँ हाँ वही कर रहा है।
अरे वो ज्वाइन ही नहीं हुआ। मैं भी बैकग्राउंड में अपना। अच्छा ठीक है। ज्वाइन नहीं हुआ वो।
क्षितिज ज्वाइन ही नहीं हुआ, ये सही है।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, अरे भाई जो टास्क मिला है उसे वीडियो एडिटिंग का, किसी ने तो बोला था 2 सेकंड का वीडियो बनाया है, होगा क्या?
भाई 2 सेकंड, अरे भाई साहब 2 सेकंड का कैसे बनाते हैं भाई? भाई मैं तो 0.5
वो
सेकंड
भूल
की
गया कि ये
2 सेकंड का कैसे बनाते हैं भाई इतना बड़ा?
इंस्टाग्राम रील नहीं है।
इंस्टाग्राम रील भी 15 सेकंड का होता है।
ये वो भूल गया कि ये रील्स नहीं।
भाई हम
हाँ
लोग का
भाई।
इंजीनियरिंग ड्राइंग है या फिर ऑटोकैड सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल करने वाला ग्राफिक्स है, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा।
सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल करने वाला नेक्स्ट सेम
अरे
में
भाई
है।
बाकी कॉलेज तो ऑटोकेड से कर रहा है। बाकी
अच्छा
कॉलेजेस
नेक्स्ट सेम।
में ऑटोकेड से कराते हैं। मेरा पंजाब
सेकंड
इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में वो कर रहा है ऑटोकेड।
अरे कोई जरूरत नहीं भाई, सेकेंड ईयर से नहीं है हमारे, बस बच्चे
तो
हैं।
बेटा अब मेरा बात सुने अभी, तो आप लोगों का बात खत्म कर हो गया।
बोलिए सर।
हो गया सर।
अच्छा सो
यस सर।
डू यू फाइंड एनी क्लू हाउ टू डू दैट थिंग?
Yes, sir.
कैसे
यस
करोगे?
Sir, first dot two parallel lines and intersect on the parabola, sir. use reflection property to find focus. Then from focus take 3 different lines and I mean take 3 different lines for cutting the parabola. Then from the 3 lines draw a circle of the same length as which is cut by the parabola. Then we will form 3 new circles as center on the intersection of the parabola. Then those 3 points will give the directrix.
So that is the concept is that the distance from the focus to the vertex is equal to from the vertex to directrix.
Yes, sir.
Now, that focus is not available directly. It is not given. Only thing.
Focus we can get by using reflection property.
That curve is given. Any more property can you remember? Can you remember the property of 2 parallel chords?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
हाँ, अब याद आया ना? बताओ. Anyway, बता ही देते हैं. ये देखो. Is it available on your?
Yes, sir.
This thing is done in that problem. That
Bisect करेगा जो.
A triangle TPQ was there and touching these 2 straight lines at this location and this location P and Q. This is done. First step, draw 2 parallel chords, 1 and 2. These 2. Next thing is draw a straight line, line 3, passing through their midpoints. So this is one chord. This is another chord. Get the midpoint of these 2 parallel chords and join this line and extend it. Now, what about the property or nature of this line, which is passing through the middle point of the parallel chords? What is the property of this line, this black line 3?
So it is a double ordinate.
It will be parallel to the axis.
Yes, sir. So it is the double ordinate of parabola.
This line is parallel to the axis. So this is that line which is parallel to the axis, but not axis. But one thing is sure, if we draw a line perpendicular to this, it will be one chord which is perpendicular to the axis. So draw a chord 4 perpendicular to line 3. This is not axis, means the sides are not symmetric. Would it have been axis, then this length and this length will be identical. But this line is other than axis, but it is parallel to the axis. So if we draw a perpendicular chord, then this chord will be perpendicular to the axis also. Now, if this line is perpendicular to the axis, so naturally its midpoint will be such location that axis passes through that point. So this is this step. Draw a straight line 5 passing through the midpoint of chord 4. This was chord 4. Through its midpoint, draw a line perpendicular to this or parallel to that line, whatever you have received earlier. So draw a straight line 5 passing through the midpoint of chord 4 and parallel to line 3. Line 5 is the axis of the parabola and V is the vertex. Okay. So once axis and vertex are determined, बाकी काम तो आसान है, how to get the focus. Now, if here is the focus, then what about this distance and what about this distance? If it is focus, of course it is not. We need to find it. But if this is the focus, then what about this distance and this distance?
So they will be equal.
Equals.
तुझे भेजना पड़ेगा स्कूल में. If it is
कौन
focused,
सा
then
distance
from that equation y square is equal to 4a. This length is a, and this length is, let us rectum 4a. This is twice a. This is twice a. Okay. So this length is to this length is 1:2 if it is focus, but it is not focus. So to find that, we do this thing. At any distance d along this focus, take a length d. This length, this location is q, and through q draw a perpendicular. So at a distance, identify location q. From q draw a perpendicular of length twice d. Would it have been the focus, then ratio will be a is to twice a, and this point would have been there on the curve, this locus, but it is not like that. So what we do, we extend this line VP to meet the parabola. So extend line VP to intersect the parabola at L. Now L prime perpendicular to the axis. L prime is the latus rectum and F is the focus, because F maintains or satisfies that geometrical criteria that VF is to FL, it is 1:2, because it is satisfied from this similar triangle D is to twice D. So this is the whole thing. Take a screenshot.
सर ये पूरा प्रोसेस करने के लिए कितना टाइम लगता है?
जितना टाइम लगाओगे उतना टाइम लगेगा.
वाह.
You do not need to write all this description. This is for the demonstration to give you the knowledge about the steps. That after drawing this curve, you need to draw these things only. Draw two parallel chords, locate their midpoints, draw a line connecting those two midpoints, then draw a line perpendicular to that midpoint, perpendicular to that line. Of course, this line is parallel to the axis, not axis. Then draw a perpendicular. For that perpendicular line, we identify the middle point. Through middle point, we draw the axis, which will be parallel to this line or perpendicular to that already drawn this perpendicular line. Then this is the important step of making 1:2 similar triangle, any arbitrary length. Now, if this length is quite big, D, then naturally it will come out of this range of this curve, whatever you have drawn with the triangle. So you do not get any that location where it intersects with this. So it depends, and you will gather experience while you work with all these things with your own hand, your instruments, etc. Then vertex is there, focus is here, this is the latus rectum. Then what about the directrix? Extend this axis in this way, measure this distance A equal to VF on this side, identify it, draw a line perpendicular to that extended axis line. Axis. Okay. So it takes a lot of time to demonstrate in detail about each and every problem, but we cannot afford that much time. So for that, you now have this primary instruction about all these things. Please consult a book. You purchase it hard copy, you purchase it soft copy, you get some second-hand book.
ND what will be okay?
More than okay. हम लोग तो
Can you zoom out the picture?
हम लोग तो एनडी भट्ट पढ़ के बड़ा हुआ रे. उस टाइम ये वेणुगोपाल नहीं था. But now I find Venugopal is also quite a useful book. And there are so many books. You people are unfortunate due to this pandemic situation that in your institute, NITD library, there are at least 50 different authors' book on engineering drawing or engineering graphics is there. And you can learn so many things. खत्म ही नहीं कर पाओगे। बट
नहीं चलेगा।
एनीवे एक
एक
कब तक
बुक
रहेगा ये हमें पता नहीं। और जब तक in fact we are government organization, government institutes, and we have to maintain the state government and the central government both instructions. So naturally we are helpless there. But as much as we can, we have to explore it and we have to utilize it completely. Ultimately, the tuition fee, etc., you are not paying from your own pocket. You are cutting your parents' pocket. You are being sponsored by your parents. Sometimes parents bank loan लेते हैं. Okay, there are so many parents. So please pay a good respect for them.
जूम आउट करेंगे थोड़ा, स्क्रीनशॉट लेना था।
अब ठीक है? Now you just take halfway screenshot so that the steps are prominent. Now, first 4 steps, take a screenshot. Next, last 3, last 2 plus 1 repeated, the 4th one. Done?
Yes sir.
Okay, देखते हैं आप लोगों के लिए और क्या सर्विस मैं दे सकता हूँ। 1 मिनट रुक जा। I just unshare this file and find something new. No.
Did sir give any work to do? Sir, you are muted.
Now, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Do you
Yes,
find
sir.
a new screen there? A new page?
Yes, sir. An ellipse.
Ellipse. The information is this major axis length between A prime and minor axis length, this distance between B and B prime, these are given. So draw the ellipse. Of course, it is biaxially symmetric and closed curve. So this is one mirror line. For this part, it will be the mirror image. About this line, this part is the mirror image of this one. So if we can draw any one quadrant, any one quarter of this locus, naturally we can repeat by XY plotting, etc. on the other side also to get this one, and about this line on the other side, that is the lower part also. Now steps are, you take a line horizontal, mark two locations A and A prime with the major axis distance given. Okay. Next, through its midpoint, draw a vertical line, and half of the minor axis on the upper side, half of the minor axis, those distances you identify on these two sides. So you are now ready with these points, capital A prime, capital B and capital B prime. Okay. Next step, take B as center of a circle and take a radius as OA, semi-major axis, this length as radius, and about this point B, you draw one circular arc to intersect on this horizontal line at point F. Obviously, from that geometrical clue, it will be the focus F, and the mirror image point you can find out simply measuring this distance with a divider or compass and mark it there, or you can use the same distance OA as radius, take this point B as a center, with that radius draw one circular arc, get this point of intersection. Okay. Now once F and F prime are determined, that is the focus of this ellipse, then remember that primary geometrical clue, that is summation of focal distances is equal to the length of the major axis. So if arbitrarily there is a point, suppose here is a point which is supposed to be on the ellipse, then from this point, suppose that point is P. So P to F you measure the distance, and P to F prime you measure the distance. Summation of these two distances should be distance of this line between A and A prime, or the length of the major axis. And that thing we do systematically in that way that on this horizontal line we identify arbitrarily several points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. Okay. Then distance from A prime to this location 1 and distance from A to this location 1. If we use these two distances as radius values and draw circular arcs about F prime and about F and get the point of intersection, then for the triangle, two sides are of these distances, A prime 1 and A1. Similarly, for 2 also, 2 to A prime, that distance as radius, and 2 to A as distance as the radius. Now take this point at center, draw a circular arc of this length A prime 2. And about this point F, take the remaining part of this major axis, that is A2, as radius, and draw one circular arc and get this point of intersection here. Definitely this point satisfies that geometrical criteria that summation of focal distances equal to the major axis. So this is one focal distance, distance of this point P2 to this focus, distance of this point P2 to this focus. These distances are equal to A prime 2 and A2, that is A prime 2 and A2. Add them along this line, they will be the distance, that is the length of major axis. So summation of these two focal distances are satisfying that criteria. So definitely this is a point on that. Similarly for point 1, point 3, point 4, point 5 also, that same demonstration is given there. So from 5 measure the distance A prime, from 5 on the other side measure it up to A, and take these two distances as radius. Use F and A prime as centers, draw these two separate circular arcs, get the point of intersection. That's all. So we get series of such points P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, P8, etc. And these points must be very closely spaced so that you need to join all these points with freehand smooth curve. There is no shortcut way. You have to keep patience and you have to be very much accurate about all these points to be connected by a pencil. So after 1 or 2 trials, you will find these things are almost perfect. Then you make it prominent. Okay. Now, once we have determined this thing, you do not need to follow the process of drawing separate series of circular arcs, etc. Or you can do it, no problem. So once this is taken as center, F prime, the same distance A prime 2 on this side and A prime 2 on this side, at one go, you can get this point. And similarly about F as ready at the center and taking the distance A2, draw the circular arc on this side also, lower side with respect to this horizontal line, major axis line. Get here, get the point of intersection, and sequentially you connect them with a freehand smooth curve. So ultimately it depends on your ability of how you manage all these things. So it touches at B and B prime with these horizontal lines and touches at A and A prime with these vertical lines drawn at A and A prime. So this is the method of intersection, and there are so many methods. You please, it's my advice, request, whatever you say, that you go through drawing book. Please consult the drawing book. There are so many methods and so many interesting things about this drawing you will find that you never imagined, because in school this subject was not there. Most of the subject here in your engineering curriculum here, at least in first semester, they are the continuation of your school subjects, mathematics, physics, chemistry, some computer related subjects, some languages, C, C++ or basic, etc. But this subject was not there. Partially it was there. This property was described, the summation of focal distances that is equal to the length of the major axis. It was there, but most of us did not utilize that idea to draw one ellipse. Okay, so please have a screenshot, and it is self-explanatory.
So 1, 2, 3, these points are arbitrary.
Arbitrary. Arbitrary.
Sir?
Yes.
So how I take the focus? Can you repeat, please?
Just hold. Let me unshare this file and come back. You just wait for a minute. I'll make it ready and then I'll tell you.
Okay, sir.
So is it okay now? So first step, you draw these lines. Of given length, major axis and minor axis. Okay, so get the origin O. Right, then B as center, radius equal to OA. Draw the arc. Intersect the line A prime at F and F prime. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
So which are focus? Then 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. arbitrary.
Sir, these numbers do not have to be same length placed.
Arbitrary means no common gap, no constant gap. Arbitrary means arbitrary.
Okay,
but
sir.
one thing, when you take the distances, they must be consistent. That is, one is distance between A prime and 2, other is distance between A and 2. This distance is here and this distance is here. Take F prime as center A prime 2 as radius, draw one circular arc. Take F as center. Take A prime, rather A2 as radius, draw this circular arc, get the point of intersection. This is a point on the ellipse because it satisfies that the distance between A to 2 and distance between A prime and 2, that is A prime. So summation of focal distances, that is equal to major axis length. So in the I identify the points P1, P2, P3, P4, etc. corresponding to this 2, it is P2. For the length 3, A prime to 3 and A to 3, these two distances have two different radius for two different circles, for two different centers, F prime and F. Okay. So this is the step what you must follow for every such arbitrarily selected point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Similarly, for the point 5, this is point 5. For point 5, the distance from 5 to A prime is this much, and distance from A to 5 is this much. You take this length as radius here. You take this length as radius here. This is the center for this length, and this is the center for this length. Now this point of intersection for these two arcs is the point 5. So identify these points on the other side also, as if this is, if it is P1, then here also it is the corresponding point 1. For 2 it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. So identify this point. Similarly, here on this side as well as on this side also. So identify all these points and draw a smooth freehand curve. Any more question?
No, sir.
But one thing, determination of these points are one part. Next important part is to draw a very smooth, continuous freehand curve passing through all these points in this way. Okay. But this colors you will not get in your pen, pencil, paper, eraser, etc. at your home. Only thing pencil, and that too the gray color, not of multicolor.
Sir, do we need to use construction line?
Which are construction lines?
The using 2H pencil, or we need to draw it?
2H or H is sufficient, but thing is that this line should be more prominent compared to these lines. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So the lines we will construct, they will be less prominent.
your primary objective is to draw the ellipse.
Ellipse.
So ellipse to be shown with this thick line.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so suppose you do this thing. You work with all these lines with very thick line. And these are so prominent. And what you do, this ellipse line is very thin, like this. So we will be happy with this construction line and this object line.
No, sir.
Suppose this is the construction line. This is the construction line. And the final object line is like this. So will it be a happy thing for you?
Though sir,
Weird.
it occurred error order.
So naturally you understand it. Okay? Anything? Any more question about this? And there are so many other methods. Please consult the book, because a single class can demonstrate hardly 3-4 such
Sir,
cases.
So
Yeah.
submit the first sheet also, the plate one that you have provided us.
Regarding plate 1 मैंने अभी तक कुछ बताया नहीं. क्या करना है I'll tell you. I'll instruct you separately. Okay, but definitely the whole thing what is printed there you cannot accommodate in a single A4 page. Okay, because it is prepared for that 50 by 550 big drawing sheet. ठीक है? So
Sir,
we
which
have to take
sheet to
separate
be
individual diagrams. That I will discuss later, so that you can work it at your home and send it through mail, or directly in a class. I can share all your video cameras individually, and you just direct the camera on the page, and immediately on screen I can see it. And in that case, you don't need to save the file in the form of some PDF or something like that, or share it individually. It's not like that. Simply focus the camera on the page on which you are working. But one thing, some 10-12 pages must be ready with you, having borderline and the title block at the right hand bottom corner, so that any small solution is that you are making, either if I ask you to submit through mail, that you can do it there, scan it and send it, or if directly I want to see it through your camera, simply focus. Any more questions?
Sir, another thing is that from 4 to 6, I am not there, so I don't think so. The class will take place at 4. Means for the class will take place, but I may not be able to attend the class. So there will be any problem?
ए बेटा मेरा मुंह मत खुलो, कभी स्कूल में बंक किया था?
नहीं सर.
हाँ?
नहीं सर, क्लास बंक नहीं है सर.
इससे ज्यादा मत खुलो.
सर मेरा असल में पापा का ट्रांसफर हो रहा है, तो मुझे वहाँ जाना है इसलिए.
ठीक है, your friends are there. You just primarily get the materials from them, go through it, and whatever confusion is there, you can ask in any general class. You can share it in the screen, or you can send the mail, but you should not expect the whole class to be repeated for you only. Okay.
Yes sir. No, I am not asking. I am saying sir, मतलब बाद में कोई अटेंडेंस के कारण प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा ना सर, वही पूछ रहा था.
attendance अगर ये offline होता, there must be some problem for attendance. The very strict rule was there earlier in old days. 75% attendance was compulsory. If it was below that, grade reduction was there. Suppose you have scored through your answer script grade A, but due to that lack of attendance, one grade down will be given to you. Then some more old days, few more years back, it was that if your attendance is below 60%, then you will not be allowed to appear for the examination, and you have to repeat the year or you have to get the special permission from the vice chancellor, etc. So वो तो जमाना हो गया, वो अभी तो उतना strict तो system है नहीं अभी. Of course some attendance requirement is there, but there are so many flexibilities. For online classes, we cannot impose such type of restriction because there are so many people staying at some remote places who do not get the connectivity. They simply get their friends' material through some medium like WhatsApp or something like that, but they cannot attend the class continuously in online mode. और ये आधा घंटा क्लास के अंदर तो 10 बार उनका कनेक्शन कट जाएगा. ये 2-3 दिन पहले मेरे क्लास में भी हो रहा था, ये जा रहा था आ रहा था, जा रहा था आ रहा था, our institute network. So it's very troublesome thing. Now one more thing, suppose I am working at this particular location. I am drawing it here, that at some origin we are drawing two mutually perpendicular lines, one horizontal, one vertical. On the horizontal line, cut a distance of that semi-major axis. On the vertical, cut a distance both sides the semi-minor axis. But when I am reaching at this point B, P prime, A prime, still you are looking at your screen at this origin O. It has not advanced. So normally it is very difficult to communicate, but still I believe if you just follow the thing regularly and consult the book, there is no substitute for a book. Any more questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
Sir, how many questions we have to solve?
बेटा तू जर्नलिज्म पढ़ ले पहले, उसके बाद कैसे, हाँ तो किसी मिनिस्टर के मुंह से कैसे क्या बुलवाना पड़ता है वो जर्नलिस्ट लोग अच्छी तरह से जानते हैं और बाद में फंसाते हैं. उसके बाद मिनिस्टर लोग पलटी खाते हैं, बोलते हैं नहीं इट वाज मिस इंटरप्रिटेड. ऐसा मत कर, जो कुछ करना है मैं बताऊंगा. So please go through all the problem of this plate number 2. There are so many problems on curves. 6, it started from 6, the parabola. 7, the parabola. 8 also that parabola. 9 ellipse, 10 ellipse, 11 ellipse, 12 is a hyperbola. Then remaining 5 problems are on 5 different classes. 13 Archimedean spiral, 14 logarithmic spiral. These things are very important for engineering applications. Now cycloid, involute and epicycloid, hypocycloid. These are also very important and so many applications are there. Have you heard the name gear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the shape of the curve of that gear tooth? अगर याद नहीं है तो गूगल में देख ले. Name of the curve for the gear tooth.
सर सेटिंग्स का साइन का
क्या?
Involute.
पक्का? Can anybody support him?
Involute.
Yes, sir. Involute.
Okay. Now how to draw one involute, that is there in problem number 16. Draw the involute of a circle of diameter 4 centimeter. But I am not going to discuss all this construction in detail because it will take a full semester, even more than that, to discuss these 17 problems. But we have remaining major chapters are also there. So please go through these geometrical constructions from any book and try to solve them. And I will ask any or many as your assignment and you do it there at your home and send it through mail or any other.
Can I show the plane scale?
Can you?
Show the plane scale. I said at the beginning that